Sal McGee with YETicket.com. I'm here with Eitan Pitigliani. Well, he directed this new film called Sissy. Is it Sissy or Sissy?
It's Sissy, and it's
magic. Great. Yeah, Sissy. Well, this is a short film, and this is your third or fourth film?
Yes, correct. It's my
that you created? This is your fourth one. Well, tell us about this film.
Well, it's a special story to me because it was inspired by my personal life, and I wrote that after a very bad moment in my life. I went through a very rough patch after the loss of my mom, and it was basically a moment in which I stopped doing anything. I stopped talking to people. I stopped directing and writing, and I wasn't able to do anything because she was everything for me, and it was pretty tough because her illness only lasted a few months. And basically her passing caught me in like very, very unprepared. And I wrote that story in the moment in which I bumped into a 7-year-old little girl that I actually knew from before, from when she was 4. And this little girl was amazing because she just like made me snap out of the funk, and she grabbed my hand and she said, "This is not the way to live, and you gotta pull yourself together and do what you gotta do." And I mean, it's pretty impressive because she's a 7 years old and she looks like Holy Mary, really, to me.
Wow. So this is very personal for you, this film.
It is. And she's actually the little girl that stars in the film. I dealt with that and supernatural forces and this kind of spiritual subject with Ed Asner in a film that I made with Ed Asner a couple of years ago. But this time, in the special role of the mentor, I wanted her, I mean, this little girl from the real life, to be in the film. And she's actually at her first experience in a film. And it's pretty amazing how she could deliver her performance, and it's just like in the real life. She saved me, and if I'm a director and a better person today, it's because I could make this special gift to my mom thanks to this little girl. Her name is actually Dea, which in Italian means goddess. So
wow,
can you believe that? And she's
smarter. I can believe that.
She's smarter than all the people I've ever met. So, and she's only 7.
Wow, that's great. Yeah. So Luca in the film, the main character, that's you. Really, right?
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. The main character.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Yes and no, because I was like suffering a lot, and I wasn't. I mean, when you go back to your real life and to the real world, and you enter your house, and the person you love the most in your life, she's not there anymore, and like there's like 4 walls, but there's no, you can feel the spirit within the house, but you cannot actually see the person that you love the most. And I was actually, right. I just went bonkers. I was just like, totally, I went down the rabbit hole, and the only way I was able to portray this character was making it worse than me. So I wanted to give him a very special facet, and I wanted to picture the character as a guy who decides to live among the homeless. And it's a very special theme to me because I actually travel a lot in Europe, and I live between the US and Italy, and I know that homelessness is a very tricky and very delicate subject in the US too. So the experience that I have of the people that I know in LA, and most of the time I used to hang out with them and talk to them in Santa Monica and in Westwood and in Rome too. I mean, I like to pay attention to the people that suffer the most, and I wanted the main protagonist to be someone that is close to the people that have less than him, and that he can feel more attached to. And this is the way the main character chooses to feel closer to the real world and to his mother, instead of living in his house with his father and just thinking about moving on, because you cannot really move on after someone you love passes away. But I believe that's not the end of things. That's basically the heart of the film, that after that there must be something, because we all need to believe that our dearests, when when they're gone, they're not actually gone for good. There must
Yeah,
be.
right. I understand that, and I know many people went through that, and they lost someone that was very close to them. But here in the film, though, in Sissy in the film, how come Luca was not very close to his father? Was his father mean? Was his father wasn't around? I mean, I can understand Luca being a guy that he really loves his mother, but how come his father couldn't be close to him, or at least try to comfort him, or he wouldn't let his father comfort him?
Exactly. That's what happened. He doesn't want his father to get in his zone. He just escapes reality. I mean, his father tries to confront, and he wants to talk to him, and he wants his son to see that life must be lived, no matter what. And actually, the father decides to move on, but the guy doesn't want to hear anything about that. And he just flips the switch, and he decides to live among the homeless because he doesn't want to face reality, and he doesn't want to get together with his father. That's the main thing. His father is, I mean, unlike the real life in which my father is really, he was really like me. I mean, he misses and still he missed and still misses a lot my mom. So I gave the character, the father's character, something different from real life, and the man just wants to move on, whereas his son is so much in a deep end that there's no confrontation between the two of them, and ultimately it happens thanks to Sissy. So Sissy is the Holy Mary that makes everything smoother and makes the magic happen.
Man, because I really felt sorry for the father in this film, because his wife is gone, and now his son pushes him away. And also there's one scene in there where the father said, well, I can't look at her things, I need to throw them away. But Luca said, no, don't do that. But then that's when Sissy turns up. But I really felt sorry for the father, because he's at a loss too. And no one's, well, in the film, Luca doesn't seem to understand that.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you just end up being it's bad to say selfish, but it's kind of true. When you suffer a lot, you just tend to feel sorry for yourself. You feel that you're grieving, but you don't actually see that the people around you are suffering just like you, and some even more, because the father is looking at his son, and his son is suffering, and probably the fact that his son is suffering makes him suffer even more, and the son is not able to see that. So yeah, I agree with you that the father is, it's like it always happens that the fathers are most of the times they're in a very special role, but most of the times they're like left behind compared to the mothers. So that's basically, the mother is a key role, and sometimes the father is not paid attention to. And this was the case in which I wanted to give the father a special role that is kind of ignored at the beginning, and his grief and his suffering is kind of ignored by Luca. But ultimately, thanks to Sissy, who unchains her son's heart, Luca is finally able to see his father's suffering and to get along with him and to start a new friendship, because they're the ones that remain. I mean, they're the ones that have to live without the mother and the wife in that case. And we have to pay attention to the people that remain in this earth. It's not just the ones that are gone. So it's kind of tricky, because when someone dies, you just think of the person that you lost. And also something that I really I'm really proud of this, is that the people that remain alive have to face reality and get together. But at the same time, the people that passed away, they maybe even better than us. I mean, they, just like Sissy says, it's a beautiful world, wonderful garden surrounded by waterfalls with butterflies, birds chirping. I'm swimming in the sea. Don't bother me. I mean, live your life. I'm better than before. And that's something that I like to picture my mom and all our dearests especially in a moment of COVID, you know, in this period of COVID, with all the people that were gone and are still suffering, and especially with what's happening today. I mean, I love to think of the people that are gone, that they're not gone for good. Their spirit lives within us, but also they are in a better world, and they may have taken a new shape. They may have given themselves another name, and that's something that I truly hope, because I mean that must not be the end of things.
Yeah. I mean, I have friends believe that once your body is gone, it's not the end of things, but we never really know. But we want to believe, and it makes us feel better.
Yeah, but it was amazing when I was filming. Actually, it was actually before filming that I was preparing the role with the little girl, and she was like 360 degrees. I mean, when we were filming, but also when we were getting ready for filming, and we were like during rehearsals, we just set a pause and we were like watching TV, and we were sitting on the couch, and she said, we were like relaxing at ease, and surprisingly, she came up with an expression that my mom used to say. I looked at her mother, and I asked her if the kid, I mean, who taught the kid that expression? We investigated for like 2 days, and there was no one that used that expression at work, at school, in the house, in the people she knew. And that was an expression that my mom used to say back then. So I was like, what the hell? So I said, this must be magical. So I mean, the magic happened just right there.
Eitan, it is magical. Now, talk a little bit about yourself. I see that you studied at the London Film Academy. Not only that, you also studied in the New York Film Academy. Let's start from the beginning. Why do you like to be a director, and why did you want to be a director? Why did you want to be in film?
Well, it's like a cross that you embrace, and it's something that lives within you. I don't think I decided to be a director. It's just that I was born this way, and it's tricky and it's tough sometimes. But when you come up with a story, and it's usually a story that you share with people, I love unconditional love. I love people that love other people unconditionally. And for example, when I was, I believe, 13, I saw a French movie entitled Monsieur Ibrahim et le Frère du Coran, with Omar Sharif, and his character is amazing, and it's just someone that loves someone unconditionally, just like Sean Connery in Finding Forrester. With his character loves the young man unconditionally, just like unconditional love. And when I started watching these kind of movies, I thought this is something that I should do, but I felt it within me. And that's why I decided to fly to the US and to the UK first. And I studied in New York and in London. And I just feel like there's an American part in my soul. I have an American soul as well. So it's like I'm divided in between the US and Italy, which is not bad. I mean, because American people love Italy a lot. I love the US.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so in love with the US too, so it's the perfect match.
Oh, it sure is. And so as a young kid, you watch these films and you feel this is what you want to do. So now this is your fourth film, and you've been in many film festivals. Sissy will be in Cleveland on April the 6th. And are you going to be there?
I'm going to be there. And what's really touchy is that when I got the email and I found out that I was selected as the only Italian short film. There's only 3 features, but among the shorts, Sissy is the only Italian in competition. When I found out about that, I spoke to the people, and they're so wonderful. I mean, Cleveland is run by such amazing people, and I'm very happy that the film was received really well and that they praised it a lot. And when I spoke to them, I found out that the screening is going to be on April 6th, and I was astonished. And really, I was out of breath, because basically that's the day when that happened, when my mom passed, was April 6th.
Oh
And I
Oh,
was
wow.
actually flying, and I just spent 2 days in the US because basically I lived, like, I stayed back to back with her. I was like close to her all the time since she discovered that she was sick. I mean, for like 5, 6 months. And she asked me, she begged me to go because I had a film screening at the Dolby Theater. So she said, you go and you come. I mean, if you want to come back in 2 days, you come, but you have to go. And there was no way to win over my mom. So she pushed me to fly. And I said, it's only 2 days. She was there for a random checkup. So I said, okay, she won. So I decided to fly, and then I flew back right away. And but that's something that, I mean, when I processed the grief, thanks to the little girl, actually, which is really
Right.
impressive. I actually see that as it's hard to say, and when you're too intimate with yours, when you're like only with yourself, it's hard to think it this way. But the way I want to think is that it's not the end of things. That was something like a new start for her in a better world, and she kind of entered me. So that day must be a day, just like Sissy says, we gotta celebrate. So probably that day she wanted it to be a new start. It's something very
Exactly.
spiritual. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can feel that. Yeah.
I couldn't
I,
see that in the beginning. In the beginning, I was like Luca, but the difference was that Luca decided to go on the street, whereas I felt like some kind of, it was so deep and profound, was cut so deep by her passing, that what you see on the street was actually within me. I mean, in my heart. So I think it was even more painful, but I wanted to portray it with homelessness and feeling close to the people that really need our help.
yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we're just thinking about ourselves in a very selfish way. We only think
All the
about
time.
our problems. There's people that have more problems than us. That's why every time
Mm-hmm.
especially when I'm in LA, every time someone drives me crazy or people disappoint me, or when I just want to punch the wall or hit the wall with my head, I just like go on the street, talk to these people. If I can buy something for them or just talk to them, and it's
Talking about the
special.
homeless people, right? Right.
Yeah. I mean, I bump into them all the time in Santa Monica or in Westwood, and also in Rome. It's the same, and I just like to hang out with them. And there's people that they're amazing. I mean, there's some that read like books after books, and they know even more things than like people, professors or people that I know. I mean, they read a lot. They know about life more than us. That's why I wanted to share Sissy's story with them. And I, even if Luca is a little selfish and he doesn't want to talk to his father and doesn't want to see his father's grief, on the contrary, he wants to share his grief with the people around him. There's a scene that was actually cut because there was no way to explain that to the fullest. When he actually takes a box of pizza and he takes it to he just leaves it there for the people that will come. So he just wants to share his sorrow and his feelings and his grief with the people around him and make their life better. And I believe that
Yeah.
it's our mission, because our life, no matter what, it's gonna end. So we need to be good in life.
That's what I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I can feel it when I talk to you that you are on the same wavelength. I totally
Oh,
see
thank
that.
you very much.
Thank
All
you
right,
for
I'm
being
gonna
here.
no problem. I want to change the subject matter to the Academy Awards. You have an Italian film that got nominated for Best Foreign Film called The Hand of God. I saw this film twice. I love this film. I thought it was the best foreign film. Are you familiar with it? The Hand of God?
I actually know Paolo because actually
Oh, okay.
I was in Hollywood. I was at the screening of The End of God in I believe it was at the American Cinematheque. It was last December, and I actually had the chance to talk to him after the screening. And he's such a special man, a special director, and I really, really root for him, and I cheer for him, and I would love to, for him to come back with the Oscar in his hands.
Yeah.
So it's a very
It's it's
special film.
it is a special film. I really love that film. It reminded me a little bit of my life. And even though it's Italian, I'm American, but it still reminded me a little bit of my life and things like that. All right. Eitan, well, thank you very much for taking time with me, Almi Gee at YETicket.com. Sissy, first chance you get to see it is at the Cleveland Film Critic on April 6th. And also stay in touch. I'd like to see more from you, okay?
Thank you so much, Albert.
Talk
you. Soon. Bye.
Right.
Take care.
For sure now.
This is your entertainment ticket. Latest and greatest.